Hey guys, welcome back. So to start off this tutorial, I'm just going to prep my skin using this fresh deep hydration rose toner. This just really helps to sort of prep my skin ready for makeup and ready for moisturizer to go on top. And today I want a really sort of glowy makeup look. So I'm using the Iconic London. These are the Glow Drops, I believe they're called, in the shade Original. I'm just basically popping these all over my face and then mixing in my Clarins Hydrate Essential Lotion. And as you can see, I'm just sort of like mixing them two together and rubbing them in so that I get a nice glowy dewy looking base before I start my foundation. So I'm just going to take a little bit of that mixture down my neck, and now we are literally looking like the Tin Man. I'm going to move on to foundation. This one is the Rimmel Breathable Foundation. I really love this foundation a lot. It gives me a really nice medium to full coverage. So as you can see, I'm just using the doe foot applicator that it comes with just to pop a little bit of that on my skin, and then I'm just bouncing that in as usual with my damp beauty blender. So just making sure that this is all nice and blended. Once this is on, it doesn't actually look as glowy, but you can definitely still see the glow sort of shining through, which is why I really like using this combination of illuminator and foundation. So now for my concealer, I'm going to go in with this Clarins Instant Light Brush On Perfector concealer. This is in the lightest shade, I believe, and I'm using that quite liberally under my eyes in kind of like that triangle shape, and I'm going to be popping this down at the centre of my nose, forehead, cupid's bow and chin as well, because this is a really nice kind of light reflecting highlighting concealer. So this works really well for kind of highlighting those areas. So again, I'm just blending that in with my damp beauty blender, just making sure that it's all nice and pressed into the skin and you can't see any sort of harsh lines or any cakiness. So now I'm just going in with a little bit of cream highlighter. This one is a Charlotte Tilbury Beauty Light Wand, and this is kind of like a pale champagne colour. I really love this highlighter. It looks so nice in the sunlight. When the sunlight hits this, it literally looks beautiful. So I'm just popping that on the tops of my cheeks, down the centre of my nose, on the tip of my nose and on my chin as well. And then obviously just blending it out with the same beauty blender that we've used for the whole thing. So as I said at the beginning, I do really want this look to be lovely and glowy so that we have that really beautiful glowing skin. So I'm going to be sticking with the cream products for now. This one is the Hourglass Sheer Colour Trio, and I'm using the bronzer slash contour shade of this, and I'm using this on a Charlotte Tilbury brush, and I'm just basically popping that kind of in the hollows of my cheeks, but sort of lifting it up a little bit as well, because this is quite a warm colour to use as a contour, but this blends really seamlessly, as you can see. So I'm basically just pressing that into the cheek area, and then I am just going over the edges with the same beauty blender again, just to make sure it's all nice and blended through the skin and you can't see any lines. I'm just popping a little bit of that on my forehead as well, just to make it look like we've got a little bit of a natural tan. And now I'm just going in with a tiny little bit of powder under my eyes. So this is the Laura Mercier translucent powder on this Real Techniques brush, and I am just going to be setting my kind of smile lines as well. And now I'm going to be going in with another Hourglass palette. This one is a powder one, so this is the Ambient Lighting palette Unlocked. I'm just taking that sort of bronzer shade mixed with the dark powder, and I'm just popping that on the same areas that we put the cream colour, just to sort of set that down so it's not too tacky. And then I'm going to go in with this light blusher in the palette, and I'm just going to be popping that obviously on the centre of my cheeks, just to give myself a little bit of a rosy glow. And now I'm going in with the highlighter from that same Hourglass palette, and I'm just popping that, just a little tiny bit of this, not too much, but just over the areas that we've already highlighted with the cream highlighter. So obviously just on the brow bone, cheeks and down the nose as well. To mesh all the makeup together, I'm just spraying over a little bit of MAC Fix Plus just so that it's all nice and set, and then I'm just going to do my brows off camera. And now I'm going on to the eyes. I'm actually using a crayon in this tutorial, so this one is the Charlotte Tilbury Colour Chameleon in the shade Bronze Garnet, and these are super easy to use because you basically just kind of scratch them on the eye really loosely, and then you can just go in with your finger or a brush just to kind of blend them out. As you can see here, I prefer to use a brush just because I find that you can get it a little bit more seamless and less patchy. This one that I'm using is actually from Charlotte Tilbury as well, and it's their blending brush. And as you can see, I'm kind of blending and then I'm popping that colour back over the top again. So then I'm just going to be packing it on, blending it out, packing it on, and then blending it out again until I get the intensity that I like. So this can be a little bit tedious, but it is actually quite easy to use, and it's a little bit less messy than if you use a powder, especially if you do your face first like I've done here. So I'm just taking my time to really blend that out so it's all nice and seamless. So just to help it blend into the eye a little bit more seamless, I'm just going in with this matte bronzer. You can use any bronzer you have or a warm brown eyeshadow. So I'm just taking that on the same fluffy brush and I'm just running that through the kind of crease and the blend just so that it's a little bit more seamless and it blends into the skin a bit better. And now I'm actually going to be taking this limited edition Charlotte Tilbury palette. If they still have it available, I'll link it in the description box. So I'm just using this kind of like red glittery shade from the palette. You could use any kind of red sort of glitter that you have. There's quite a few of these kind of going around in palettes at the moment. It's a very popular colour. I'm just basically popping this on the eye with my finger and then blending it out with that brush. And now just for the lower lash line, I'm going in with this Tweely palette from Lottie London, and I'm taking this matte red shade in the palette, and on this pencil brush I'm just going to be sort of drawing that on the lower lash line. And I did build this up with a few coats just before I was happy with it, and then blended it out with just a clean fluffy brush at the end. I'm just going to go in now with a bit of Stila Kitten eyeshadow and just pop that on the inner corner of my eye. You can use a highlighter for this or any kind of shimmery champagne eyeshadow that you have. And now I'm just going to move on to lips. So I'm going to be lining my lips with this Charlotte Tilbury red liner. This is the shade Savage Rose, which is a really nice kind of deep burgundy red liner, which works really, really well for the lipstick that I'm going to pop on in a second. So I'm just slightly overdrawing my lips with this and making them into quite a nice pouty shape so that they don't look too thin when we pop the red on. And the red that I'm going to be using is also from Charlotte Tilbury. This one is the Charlotte Tilbury Red Carpet Red matte lipstick, which is one of my favourite red lipsticks of all time. So I'm just popping that on the lips just from the bullet. I don't use a brush when I do red lipstick at all. So I'm just popping that straight onto the lips and making sure I go right over that lip liner because it is a slightly different shade. And then what I'm going to be doing in just a second is actually cleaning up my lips with this concealer brush that I actually used to carve out my brows. I didn't have any extra product on this, but I'm just using it to slightly define the lips. And then I'm just going in with a bit of lower lash mascara. This is the Marc Jacobs mascara. I love this one. Right, and that is the finished look, guys. I really hope you enjoyed it. This look is so easy to recreate, but it's actually really effective and looks really, really pretty and definitely appropriate for like a Christmas party or something like that. I hope you guys really liked it. Please give me a like and subscribe if you did. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.